Hello, everybody. It's Michelle Jackson. I am here with the Pen Posse podcast, author interviews, and today we are going to meet a new dynamic author, Miss Tonya Jones. She had just released one of her three. Well, she's already had two books, nonfiction books, and now she's parlaying over into the fiction category, and she is now just published her first medical thriller, which is called The Silent Pulse Whispers of Deceit. And so we're really excited to have her here to talk about this amazing book and everything that this book brings. It is exciting to see our authors go in a different direction with the genre and kind of stretch their writing muscles. So we're excited to have her here. If you want a copy of this book, you can find it on direct2author.com. But for now, let's bring her on the screen.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So good to have you here. So good to finally meet you.
Thank you.
I love meeting new authors. I love everything that you bring to the table as an author. We are writing about, the experiences of life. It doesn't matter if it's a Black experience, just we are writing the experiences of life. And These things are important.
Right.
Very, very important. So let's get started. Let's dive into this amazing book. Let's get to know you. And show people what this book looked like. Like, we're really excited to see this beautiful cover. Look at you. I love that. Love that picture, everything about it. Once again, you can find this book on direct2author.com. It is The Silent Pulse, Whispers of Deceit. It is Miss Jones' first fiction novel. She's written two nonfiction books. So tell us about yourself and tell us about your work.
Okay, well, of course, with me writing a book in the medical field, I'm a nurse and I've spent 15 years in the Navy as a hospital corpsman. So I think these experiences, give me a unique perspective on the healthcare system and the challenges that come with it. A significant part of my journey has been the loss of my son, which inspired my first book, Breaking the Silence, where I share his story and my journey through grief. My second book, Facing Tomorrow, explores the struggles to heal and, find hope. Now with my third book, The Silent Pulse, I dive into a conspiracy within the healthcare facility. This book unfolds as the management team and the staff turns against each other. And they're just trying to figure out who to trust and who they can't trust. So it's really good. And I'm sorry because I get emotional when I talk about my son's book. But yeah, so that's what got me into it. And I'm really excited about this journey. God put it on my heart and I knew that I had to tell his story, and that led up to everything else.
So let's go back. We can't pass this extraordinary moment without talking about the inspiration of those first two books.
Right.
I know that it helped to heal some things within yourself.
Yes.
And I know that it was very hard. And as writers, this is what we do. We write our pain in many ways. I know whether it's journaling or writing novels or, nonfiction, I write my pain. So, to move from nonfiction to fiction, talk to us about that process and talk to us a little bit about the inspiration for those first two books.
The first two books, my therapist actually encouraged me to put my thoughts on paper. And at first I did not want to do it because I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to pray about it. I'm going to give it to God. But it's when God puts something on your heart, you're going to do it. So God revealed it to me, like, tell your story. My son passed by suicide. And I find that we never talk about it. It's never discussed until it actually happens to you. Then at that point, that's when we talk about it, because it's like, oh my God, with me being a nurse, I was looking at like, I didn't see the signs. I didn't notice here. He always looked happy. And I'm like, but I only imagine how many other families, was going through the exact same thing. And that's when I got with Out of the Darkness. And I realized, I said, oh my God, it's so many people, but we never talk. Had I said, how are you doing? And then he would say, okay. if I would have dug a little bit deeper, could I have caught that? So I just think that, and bringing awareness and letting people know that you're not alone, you have somebody to talk to, that helped me out. And then the fact that I lost my husband 10 years ago, and then I lost my son, and then a year later I lost my mom, was facing tomorrow, because it felt like God was just hitting me, just like, one death after another, and I could not just, I'm like, God, how much more can I take? And so I just actually put my book is really more therapy for me, and it kind of helped me, and it gave me the opportunity to help other people, and it actually opened up conversations to help other people understand and to truly realize that I'm not alone, whether they have dealt with somebody that committed suicide, or dealt with the loss of a family member, or even just know somebody that's going through it. This journey has really opened up a lot of doors for me, and I just thank God for it. And because I am in the medical field, I'm like, okay, most of my books are self-help. So, let's transition to something else. Let's try another avenue. And the thing is, everything that I have written about and everything that I'm writing about now, it has been, God has put it on my heart. So it's like, if God give it to me, of course I'm a nurse, and I tell everybody, hey, nursing is my heart, but now I know nursing is not my calling. And I think God want me to open up and let people know, and it's out there. I'm here to help you, whatever you need. We can find help, but let's do it together. So that's been my journey.
I love that. I love how writing just opens all these doors. It opens wounds, it heals wounds, it gives us this avenue to communicate with people like us and unlike us, and people who are going
Right.
through things, people who are going through something, who don't even know how to put it into words, can read a book and learn how to put what they're feeling out there. And that's the
That,
beauty of being a writer. I know everybody, if you're out there and you say, I want to be a writer because I want to make money. I want to be a writer because I want to be on the bestsellers list. Those things are great. I'm not opposed to any of that. But
exactly.
there is a great amount of power in just being able to experience life and share it on the paper. Put your passions and your love and everything on the paper. And it's so healing. So I'm grateful that to see that you were able to share something so personal and so intimate, because so many of us need that. We need it
Right.
as parents. We need it as friends, as people who just trying to communicate and exist in this very turbulent world right now. So congratulations on the first two books, and thank you for sharing that information with us. Now
Thank
to
you.
pivot and to move into fiction. I'm a fiction writer as well, and I love it. It's dynamic. You're building these characters, you're building this world. I always say every character is personal. You know,
Exactly.
I don't care if you're writing, talking bears in a children's book. That is representative of something or someone in your life. And so when you're writing this book and you're in the nursing field and you're working with doctors, and you have this dynamic Dr. Marcus Rainer, who is your main character in your book, and there is some conspiracy, some things going on in the hospital. My first question to you has to be, first, tell me about the hospital shows that you watch. Did that influence any of this?
You know what? Sometimes, because I was a Grey's Anatomy house, but yeah, it's always a lot of conspiracies there, and a lot of times, even when you're working at the hospital or you the patient, a lot of times, of course, the patient does not see that side of it. It's only usually like an inside thing, and most people don't see it. But with him, a nurse recognized it, and she immediately jumps to conclusions, thinking it's one thing when it's not, until she actually find out that is, we don't know who to trust. So I think that does influence it a lot.
Well, we're going to go back. We're going to go back. We're going to get to the heart of this story. And everybody, once again, the silent pulse, whispers of deceit. Tell us about the story itself without giving away too much. Drop us directly into the start of this book. What we're hoping that your readers will learn.
Okay, let's see. Where do I want to start? I can give you, I don't want to give too much away because it is going to be a series. So where do I want to start? I just hope that, I think that with Marcus, the nurse thinks that he's really on drugs. Marcus has had a lot of situations within the hospital, but Marcus is very powerful. The hospital really can't function without him, and they can't. They, of course, because of all the problems he's had, personal and professional, they want to get rid of him, but they really can't afford to get rid of him because he is the power of that hospital. So you got the nurse, Miss Martinez, who thinks the issue is Marcus. So she started doing her own self-investigation when to find out between her and the other nurses and the other staff that it's not, they're not just targeting certain people, that is a group of people, and that the people that's being targeted is somebody that's amongst them. But it gets very deep and goes deeper because it goes from administration to the attorneys to outside people. So it's a very good book. It's a very good thriller. It's a page turner. It's hard to give tell a little bit without truly giving it away, but part 2 is going to tell you more. It's going to keep you questioning, and then when you think it's somebody, you're going to find out that no, that's not who. It's going to have you not trusting anybody by the time you get to reading it. But at the end, it'll definitely reveal everything. I definitely think it's worth reading. And then, like I said, it's going to be a series as well.
Worth the read. Something that I saw about, within, talking about Dr. Marcus Rayner and his influence over this hospital is that there is this look at institutional corruption, which is so dynamic and something that I think all of us who've ever worked anywhere, when you're working behind, the walls of a company or a corporation, you really get to see how messy it is to make the sausage. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that is so true. And then even with Dr. Rayner, he's caught in a hard place, and he's really trying. They don't realize he's really trying to protect everybody without destroying everything, but he is also is stuck between a rock and a hard place. So it's almost like he's forced, but it'll reveal itself. I definitely think it's worth reading and then following the sequel as it comes out.
Well, we are encouraging everyone to go to directorauthor.com, go to Amazon, pick up a copy of your book, read it, review it, share it with someone, and have them to read it and review it, and just repeat over and over and over again. We are about finding and building those fan bases. And the only way to do that is to support the work. And you have to go out and support the work. So I'm speaking to the readers out there, support the work. It is important. So definitely go to directorauthor.com and pick up a copy of The Silent Pulse. I love that title. Let's jump into a little bit about your career and your work in the healthcare field.
Okay.
I wrote my first book, The Heart of a Man. And in the book, when I wrote the book, I was managing shopping malls. And so the book has the main character on shopping malls. And so I dug into my own experiences working in a corporate environment in order to develop my book. Tell me, because there are 2 nurses that play a pivotal role in this book. Are you one of those nurses? Which character better reflects who you are as a person?
I think Alina Martinez reflect me, because if I spot something or see something, especially if it can cause harm, then I'm going to investigate a little bit more, and I probably would dig a little bit more deeper, the same way she did as in her character. So I would definitely think that would be me.
Great.
And I've worked with, I've worked with a doctor that remind me of Dr. Marcus. He was kind of, because Marcus is a little arrogant. And so I've worked with doctors. So even though the characters are made up, it does represent people I have worked with. So yeah, I would definitely say I'm Miss Martinez.
Excellent. So you've been inspired to write. You're continuing to write, which is dynamic. You didn't just write one book, you've written three. And now you are focusing in on fiction, which is a different type of genre. You have to build worlds, like I said, and create characters that are appealing to the reader. Talk to us a little bit about your process of developing your characters. What were some of the hard things that you had to learn in writing this fiction book? And what was it about these characters that you felt like would be appealing?
The hardest thing I would say is making the story flow correctly. And then I wanted to make sure that it was something that was definitely something that, since I'm a reader, something that I wanted to read that interests me and was a page turner. So I wanted the readers to also feel the same way. To make sure, read it, and then I don't want to tell everything in the beginning, but I want to keep the readers involved so that they can, like, okay, what's happening next, so they can guess or think what's going on. So I wanted to give them that. With Marcus, I think with his character, I think what made me really go the way with him and develop who he is because of everything that's in healthcare, and everything is very stressful. I mean, from we can say from politics all the way through, and it's a lot of times that it's things in healthcare that the average person does not see, and you don't realize the pressure. So nurses have it very hard. So I'm going to advocate for nurses. Nurses have it very hard, but the doctors have it harder too. And under that stress, and then you're put in a situation where even though it's against your ethics, but if you have administration, telling you to do this, or management telling you to do this and do that, even though it's wrong, how bad do I need my job? What am I going to do what's right? Or do I need to do what's best for the patients, or just to protect myself? So it's a lot of conspiracy going on, but it's about doing the right thing. And a lot of times, like I said, you don't see that in healthcare. You only see what you can see with the naked eye, and it goes beyond that.
Well, I'm glad that you're digging into this. I mean, we see what Chandra Rhyme has done when it comes to Grey's Anatomy, and
Yeah,
really, what I love about her is she shows how a Black writer can build these complex environments and really be able to take those characters and bring them into these environments and allow the viewer, in her case, to understand their background, their dynamics, what drives them, as well as to focus in on the healthcare issue that's at hand. I mean,
exactly.
that's the great thing about writing about within a specific industry, is that you begin to educate people who aren't aware of what the nurses and the doctors have to contend with. As someone
Yes.
who's a client, I'm just going to the hospital. I'm not thinking about all these other things. And so when we write these books, I mean, you have the fiction component is entertaining. Fiction should be entertaining, but you also have an opportunity to educate and to make people aware of things. And that's what I did with my book too. I wanted people to understand what commercial real estate was really about behind the scenes, because a lot of us don't get there. We don't get to work for these major corporations. And I'm 25, 26 running malls, and people would ask me about it. And I remember my mom, she would tell people I worked at one store because she couldn't understand that I helped to run, that I ran the mall. She would just say, "Oh, my baby worked at JC Penney's." And I would just say, "Okay," because it wasn't something a lot of people were doing. So I wanted to explore that. So I'm really happy that you are not only entertaining us with an amazing book about the medical field, but also educating us on some of the nuances of the things that go on behind the scenes. So have any of your coworkers or any of the doctors and nurses at the hospital read the book and have decided, have said, "Wait a minute, is that me? Is that, where'd you get this from?" Because I got that a lot. Talk to us about
Actually, one of my doctor friends, as soon as he read it, he called me and he said, "Are you talking about me?" I'm like, "Well, am I?" Because, and in actuality, we worked so close together, and it's like we saw the ins and outs. And I'm like, "Yeah, you would be the perfect character for that." And then even with the attorney that's in the book, the only difference is my friend that's attorney, he said, "Are you talking about me?" I said, "Well," I said, "my attorney is a female." He said, but she sounds like me. I'm like, well, she probably is. And which, it's definitely people that I've been around because some of them make the best stories,
Yes. The human story is, to me, the most,
Yeah.
real world stories are the most intriguing. And I will say this, when for those of you out there who have a friend or a family member that's a writer, beware, because we are in our heads using you to build these characters. So when you're doing silly stuff, we're taking notes. We're like, oh, I can add that to my character.
Exactly.
And we will kill you off in a book. So just beware. If we're angry with you, we're like, oh, I can't do anything with you here, but I may be able to do something with that character because when I created my book, I used a lot of the CEOs who I felt were very unfair, and I built my main character, around what I felt in my day to day as
Yeah.
a young African American running malls, and so that it became it became a lot of fun. It also got a lot of pressure off of me. It was like my stress at work. I was able to like create this subculture world and build characters and this storyline around it. So that's really cool. Talk to us about writing. I know that you've written two books, but three books, but did you always want to be a writer?
I actually wrote my first book about 15 years ago. And I didn't write it to be a book. It was just me just writing stuff out. Like, oh, you know what? One day I want to be an author. But I wrote it, put it in the closet. And I just feel that at that time that it wasn't time for me to do that. But then after the loss of my son, it's like, okay, this is your time. You're going to start doing it. So it's like, I start putting them out. It's like, I am just so thankful because it's like God is just like putting all these thoughts in. Okay, here's a book for you. Here's another book for you. So it's like I probably got like 5 or 6 books that I'm working on. But it's like God is revealing everything to me, and it's like I'm going with it, And that's why I always say, like I told you before, that nursing is in my heart, but I don't feel now that it's my calling because God has revealed it to me, and I really feel my purpose is to write the books, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, and to, speak about it and educate people about it and bring awareness. So I think that in the beginning, I would say, no, I did not. My thing was I wanted to be a nurse. But I think at this point in my life, God has revealed to me what my purpose is. And it would be to be an author.
I'm going to ask you a hard question here, and you can answer it if you don't you understand. But what would you think? What would you think your son would say about what you're doing?
I think my son would be very proud and tell me to do it and to tell his story because so people don't know his story, and I think that he would. I think he would be very proud because even with that, his story is his inspiration that he's been helping me with. So I think that he'd be very proud of me and say, "Mama, you keep doing it."
That's excellent.
And to be honest, when I was even like, oh no, because the hardest thing was writing that book. That book was very hard to write it, and especially when you're dealing with the editors, you having to reread it and it's like every time it's like, oh my God, why do they want me to just reread it? I mean, it's like I'm sitting down crying about it every time. But I have to also realize it's his story, it's reality, it's what happened. So in order for me to tell his story, I have to be true to his story. And if I feel like I'm going to help somebody else, I have to be true and tell it, regardless of how I feel. And, I'm like, we're all human, so I'm going to cry when I talk about it, So I think that my son will be very just looking down at me, smiling like, Mama, you let people know they're not alone, let them know. So I think that's the hardest thing because I felt that even with me being a nurse, I felt like first I was like, how can I tell people what to do and how to do it when I couldn't even save my own child? And and God has really been there. And God was like, he wasn't yours. He was mine. I loaned him to you, and it was time for him to come home. So, I have to look at it that way, and that helps me out along with the therapy. But I think he would be very, very proud of me.
Well, that's great. Well, we are very proud of you. We are happy to know you. And when I say we're talking the Black Writers Workspace, which is the community that I started back in 2020. The goal here is to showcase our writers of diversity give you a space to connect with a new fan base, and to encourage you to continue to write. This writing thing is hard. It can be very difficult. Even if the writing itself isn't hard, just keeping yourself motivated, because
Yeah.
we don't have, like, for me, I'm an independent author. I self-publish my books. I don't have a big marketing budget behind me. So I have to promote however I promote, wherever I go, wherever I speak, wherever I choose to be on a podcast or different things like that. Everything is an opportunity to market my books and to market my brand. And so we are just proud that you are writing, continuing to write, not giving up on it. You're not a one book wonder. You're like, hey, I'm going to keep doing this, writing different genres. Next, we're going to get some poetry from you. We're going to get it all from you.
Exactly.
We're going to pull it all out. So really excited that you are a part of the Black Writers Workspace, as well as that you put your book on directtoauthor.com. That is very, very important for us as well. So we're going to wrap up by asking you to first tell us where we can get the book besides direct to author. And we know it's on Amazon. If there's any other places, you can do that. Talk to us about any speaking engagements you may have coming up. And what's next? What's book 2? What is book 2 going to look like?
Oh, book 2 is going to be very interesting. It's called The Pulse of Shadows. Probably come out in spring of 26. And all my books can be found on my website at TonyaJonesBooks.com, and then of course on Amazon. But yeah, the next one will be 2026, so I'm excited about that. So this is the Facing Tomorrow, and this is the Silent Pulse, and this is my other one right here, and that's actually my son. So I also use pictures of my son on his book, and then Facing Tomorrow, of course, I use my picture because it was my story, and I just wanted people to know, and I wanted people to feel the pain too of what it felt like going through that. So I am working on getting with different book clubs to try and do live interviews with them and interact with them. I'm also working with healthcare professionals because the Silent Pulse sparked a lot of interest in the healthcare. So I'm trying to get with them and get some input on that one. And then that will probably be more into the 3rd book of the series. So I'm excited.
Well, we are excited too. Very happy to have you. Let's show that book again. I want to make sure everybody knows how beautiful that cover is, everything that you're doing with it. This is the Silent Pulse, Whispers of Deceit. We are looking forward to seeing or being a part, or actually bringing you back on for book 2.
Exactly.
So talk about that. We encourage you to go out and get all of author Tonya Jones' books. She's a nurse. She is an inspiration to so many of us. And we're just excited to have her as part of the Black Writers Workspace. So keep doing great things. Keep being a part of, you know what? We just got to keep writing, right? We just got to keep writing. And yes, keep writing and inspiring as many people as possible to write. But for those out there, if you want to support us, the best thing to do is to buy the book. And let me stress buy, not loan, not borrow from someone, not ask for a free copy, but buy the book, read the book, review